want to teach you how you can always make the right decision. No matter what decision you have to make, whether it's weight loss related, whether it's in life, I'm going to teach you the framework to always be able to make the right decision. Because here is the deal. I don't know about you guys, but for a long time in my life, I would always stress about even small decisions, definitely big decisions, but even small decisions. I was the queen of the pros and cons list, right? Like, don't make fast decisions, really think about it, sit with it, make a pros and cons list, and then make the most educated decision, right? That's kind of how I lived for a really, really long time. But the problem would be the more I thought about a decision to make, and the more I analyzed the pros and the cons, the more the pros grew and the more the cons grew. And so it never really gave me any clarity because the more you think about something, the more you can come up with. And so decision making really stressed me out. I didn't like to make decisions, right? I'd let Ryan choose, right? Like has your husband ever said, "What do you want to eat for dinner?" And you're like, "I don't know, you choose," right? That was kind of how I made decisions in every area of life, which is not good, right? Like that's just not a good way to be because you want to be able to prove to yourself that you can make decisions and stand behind them, right? So here's the secret. Are you ready? It is not about making the right decision. It is about making the decision the right one. Let me say that again. It's not about making the right decision. It's about making the decision you do make right. So what do I mean by that? I mean, just choose. You have to choose this road, or this road. You have to choose, okay? And you can choose at random sometimes. Save yourself the stress and the overwhelm of a stupid pros and cons list of trying to predict the future and fantasize about where each road leads. Save yourself the time and the energy because if it's a small decision, if it's a big decision, like I don't care if it's should you get married? Should you have kids? What job are you going to do? Or as small as I'm going to dye my hair red, like it doesn't matter how big the decision is. You can never predict an outcome. We're not fortune tellers here. You can never predict an outcome. So thinking about the outcomes is pretty irrelevant and a waste of energy. And the cool thing is, if you can never really predict an outcome, you can only make a decision and see how it plays out. If that's true, then all you got to do is make a decision and take the pressure off of it being the right one or not, because either way, something good is going to happen and maybe there are some consequences. Every decision has benefits and downfalls. Stop over analyzing them. Stop getting stuck in analysis paralysis where you don't make a decision at all, which is limbo, the worst place to be. And if you cannot predict the future, why are you even trying? Isn't it silly? Isn't it silly sitting there trying to decide which option to take based on an imaginary future you'd like to happen, but you have no guarantee that it will? The fact that you can't predict the future makes life really easy because guess what? You just live in the present moment and make the decision now, even at random. Flip a coin, draw straws. Like, make a decision because there's no use comparing imaginary futures. There's no use. It's just like when you're scrolling on Instagram, comparing your body to another woman's body, to a woman who's, 30 years younger than you, has no kids, doesn't really have a job, and she's in the gym 24/7. It's not helpful. And by the way, she's probably filtered that video like crap, filtered it like crazy. So there's no use. There's no use in doing this. Okay. By comparing, the possible future over here with the possible future over there, what you've done is you've now fantasized both decisions, the outcomes of both decisions. You ever done this before? Where you're like, this is going to lead here, this is going to lead here. And then you kind of start fantasizing about how both outcomes could be beneficial. But then the problem is, if you think too much about that one option and you decide to go with the other option, now there's going to be some type of subconscious guilt. There's going to be guilt because you thought too hard about the other decision. And because you thought too hard, there's too much data on it. And we feel like we're missing out. Maybe we don't necessarily regret the decision we made, but that's also, we're still going to be sad that we didn't go to this one too. And so, what does that leave us with? Fantasizing about a decision and a reality that we'll never have because we didn't make that decision. And then also not being fully present in the moment of the decision we did make. And so you start to degrade your confidence of saying, I don't know if I can make good decisions. What does that do? That means the next time we're faced with a big decision, we think even harder. Get what I'm saying? And it gets us deeper in that hole. And now some of you might be saying, that's kind of my pattern. I think too much. I make a decision and then I think I made the wrong one. And then so the next time I make a decision, I'm making it even slower. I deal with this all the time. When I jump on calls with ladies who are thinking about joining our program, they'll say, I don't want to join because I have to think about it. I've been burned in the past. Having to think about something is probably one of the worst things you should do. Why? Because that tells me, number one, you're not in tune with your reality. You don't know where you are in life. If you have to check things, if you don't know if you can move forward, that means you're really kind of aloof in your life. But number two, that also means you don't trust your intuition. You don't have confidence that you can make any decision the right decision. Just making sense? When I hear ladies who say, I need to think about it, that shows me that they need my help even more because they are so out of touch with their intuition, they can't even trust their own decision. They can't even trust that if they make a quote unquote wrong decision, they don't even know how to turn it right. And that is a scary way to live. You're afraid of making decisions, so you make none or you make little ones. Does life reward people who are safe? No. Does life reward people who are afraid? Absolutely not. In fact, if you're wasting all this energy on comparing decisions, comparing futures, or regretting decisions, if you're wasting all this energy, it's kind of rude to your present self because you're putting your imaginary self, which your imaginary self in this imaginary situation, had you made this decision, you're kind of spitting on the present you and the life that you have. And that's part of the problem. Don't we all want to be as happy as possible? So the answer is not to think about all the decisions we could have made to have a better life, faster weight loss, healthier body. That's not what you have to do. Those are past. It's about new decisions moving forward. And it's not about, sitting there comparing what you wish you'd done, what ifs, shoulda, coulda, woulda. It's never going to work because now you're presuming that the other decision, whatever this decision is, ladies, I'm sure you have one in your life right now that you're thinking about, whether it's weight loss related, whether it's with your marriage, whether you're deciding on a new job, whether it's with your kids, you're fighting with your family members. Something's going on in your life where you know that you have to make a decision. Do something or do nothing. Do this or do that. And by not deciding, you are presuming that one of these better decisions is going to be better than your current reality. And the answer is you will never know if that's true. You have to make a decision to find out. So get out of your head, stop overanalyzing, and start to test yourself and your intuition. There is no such thing as a life sentence. It is only a life lesson. Every decision you make with confidence comes with rewards and consequences. But I guarantee the consequences are manageable because you had such trust in yourself. If you make a decision from trust, then you can find a solution from trust. If you make a decision from fear, you can't find solutions in fear. You just find more fear and avoidance. Get what I'm saying? So even if you make the wrong decision, whatever wrong means, you've still made it with a good intention and with a good energy. You will always be fine. You can't spit on the present you by thinking about all the things you wish you did, right? Even let's say the weekend that just passed, right? Maybe you overate on the weekend, or you can think about the last time you overate at a party. Maybe you've been feeling guilty and beating yourself up, or maybe you've just been thinking, oh, I should have had that piece of fruit instead of that piece of cake. Oh, I should have stopped after one bite. Oh, I should have canceled plans I shouldn't have even gone. We're thinking about all the things we shouldn't have done instead of what did we learn? What can we do different? Right? Because what if you made the decision to not go to that party? Well, then maybe you wouldn't have seen your friend for another 6 months. and we're not guaranteed another 6 months. Maybe they wouldn't have been around. So that was the right decision to overeat. Do you get what I'm saying? You have no idea how this will affect this, will affect this, will affect this. You have no idea the ripple effect of your decisions. You have no control over the ripple effects of your decisions. But what you do have control over is the energy that you put behind them and the energy that you put into believing them. So stop wasting time wondering if you made the right decision, wondering what the right decision is, harping on the past about how you could have been better. Stop wasting your energy and use the energy to start believing that you made the right decisions, that you can always make the right decision, that you can always turn something around. Or if that's not the case and you do feel like you made the wrong decision, you, instead of thinking about what you should have done, use the energy to fix it, to make a new decision with confidence. That's all that it is. Is this making sense? Like even with like the overeating example I gave, right? Like you could have, maybe you had to overeat to understand that your mother-in-law is your emotional trigger and she's the reason that you start stress eating sometimes. Right? How else would you have learned that? There's so many little golden nuggets in every decision that we make. If you have to look for the rewards. You can't look to the consequences, and we can't keep comparing. Like comparison is going to make sure that this journey is extra hard because oh, that lady lost more weight than me this week. Oh, I lost more weight last week. This week sucks. What's wrong with me? How are you ever going to be successful if that is the way your brain works? You getting me? How will you ever be successful if that is your default reaction? It is a reaction, which means it's programmed into you. It is hardwired into you. You are self-sabotaging yourself with your reactions and your words. So what does that mean? That means you have to be brought to, it has to be brought to your attention to realize that it was there. But then you have to practice doing the opposite. Stop comparing. Stop fantasizing, daydreaming about all the ifs, the shoulds, the beating up, the guilt. And then if you do that long enough, then the default reaction of making a decision, turning the decision into the right decision, that happens. That will be your automatic reaction. I've seen too many people, too many women ruin their bodies, ruin their families, and live below their potential because they keep comparing, keep wishing they did this something. Like they keep wishing or living, they're regretting the past, fantasizing about where they could have been, and then they're living in the future of all the amazing things they could do when they get here or if they did this. I don't want you to waste your future. I don't want you to regret your past. And I don't want you to miss your present. You are here. You showed up for yourself. There are a million little different things that you've done that are amazing and will build momentum in the right direction for you. There's so many. But you have to make it your default setting to look at those things. It's not about making the right decision. It is about making the decision you make the right one. Just decide that this is the right one. I'm going to make it right. Doesn't have to be the right one. There's not really right and wrong is incredibly subjective. And you can turn anything into a right and you can turn anything into a wrong. So stop wasting your energy thinking. Use it to do and to change your default setting. Because the most important decision you make is deciding to be in a good mood. That's it. The most important decision that you can make every day of your life is waking up, deciding that you are in a good mood. Do you agree? Deciding that you can be in a good mood. Right? It's kind of like marriage. It's not like, I hope these fuzzy feelings last forever. No, it's I'm deciding to choose to love you, to work at loving you, till death do us part. That isn't necessarily an easy task, is it? It's a choice. Just like the decision is a choice. It's the same word. It's the same thing. Choose to always be right. Choose to always find your rightness. And the only decision that matters is that you decide to be in a good mood. because every decision you make from that energetic state could never be wrong. Could never be wrong. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. If you got any value at all, I'd love it if you left a 5-star review to help more women find this podcast and get the support that they need. And if you're looking to speed up your weight loss and take your transformation to the next level, then head on over to Trimera.com. TRIMMERA.com. I'll catch you on the next episode, and welcome to your Trim Era.